Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second episode of the live interview series, SSI Live Cosmic Conversations. My name is Nia, and as one of the science communication interns here at Cal Academy, I will be your host for today. In this series, we will interview a different member of our SSI intern cohort every episode. SSI stands for the Summer Systematics Institute, a research experience for undergrads, or RU, funded by the National Science Foundation. All of the interns Sofia and I will be interviewing work directly with curators or research on research projects on all sorts of topics, from plants to people to arachnids. Feel free to leave any questions in the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the episode. Today, I will be talking to Sofia. Can you please introduce yourself before we begin?
Yeah, Nia already said, but my name is Sofia. I am the other science communication intern this summer. I go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I'm studying landscape architecture and sustainability studies. I'm originally from State College, Pennsylvania, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm not sure if I said that before.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So let's just get right into the questions. So for our first question we have, what is science communication and what does being a scientist mean to you?
Science communication, I think my definition of it has definitely expanded a lot since starting this internship just a few weeks ago. I think it's really pretty much most things that connect science and hard sciences and research to the outside, not science communities. So we've been doing a lot of really interesting work in digital engagement. That's a really important part of science communication. Also, things like community science that access the wider community, and any ways that you're bringing people in from the outside, I think is effective science communication. And I think science means to me can be also really broad. Just being curious and being curious about the natural world and looking toward like constant solutions to know more about like what's around you and how to preserve it the best, how we can like interact with it in the most kind of productive way.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you consider yourself a scientist or a science communicator?
I feel like I normally wouldn't, but I think this summer I definitely would. I think we've been doing a lot of interesting stuff and been kind of opening my mind a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so speaking of science, what can you tell us about your research project so far?
So for my research project, I'm interested in studying how the effects of being in outdoor spaces affects people cognitively. So specifically, I'm going to be looking at how being in an indoor versus outdoor environment, looking at if that changes people's empathy levels toward wanting to take steps toward the conservation of a local endangered species. So I'll be studying museum visitors, both inside the museum as well as in some of the museum's indoor-outdoor spaces, and seeing how their commitment levels to conservation might fluctuate in those different spaces, or if there's no fluctuation at all. We'll see.
Do you have like any hypotheses for this project so far?
I do. I am expecting, hopefully, that being in outdoor natural spaces makes people more likely to want to conserve their natural world. It's been shown through research that being in nature calms people down and makes them feel more connected to each other as well as to their environment. So, given that people are relaxed and feeling connected to each other and their environment, my hypothesis is that will lead them to be more likely to want to preserve that environment that they feel more connected to.
Yeah, I definitely know when I'm in natural spaces, I definitely feel more connected to the natural world than like as opposed to being like in an office building or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next question is, what inspired you to want to participate in this internship and pursue science?
Um, that's a good question. I think as far as like wanting to pursue science, that was something that was had the privilege of being exposed to my whole life. Both my parents worked in an academic science, like STEM fields. So I was always something that I was interacting with and comfortable with and encouraged to participate in. Especially, my mom works in outreach, so specifically as like a woman, I think I was maybe even more so like encouraged to do science as like a member of a minority group that is underrepresented in the science field. Um, so it was something that I was always interested in doing. I think that kind of like moving through like high school and stuff, the hard sciences were never like a huge strength of mine. So I think I didn't see it as much of a possibility for me. Though I was still interested in a lot of the concepts and really love like the outdoors and biology. So what's been really interesting about science communication is it's kind of opened another door of how I can be involved in science in a way that I didn't think I normally could be. Kind of, I feel like on the surface, it seems like, you can work in a lab, or like that's kind of where you can work in a lab or you can be a professor. And I knew I didn't want to do either of those things. So I'm interested what this kind of new realm of science can lead me to.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. That's why I decided to do SciComm. I want to work in science, but do I want to work in a lab or a professor? That's hard to hard decisions to make, but very nice answer. Okay, moving on. What is your favorite memory in nature?
That's a hard one. I love the outdoors. I definitely have a lot of memories in nature. I think one that stands out to me, about a year ago, I went to the Channel Islands with a few of my friends, and they're located off of Southern California, kind of near like Ventura, LA area. And we went to Santa Cruz Island specifically to see a couple like endemic species there, so species that only live on those islands. And we saw all of the ones we went there to see, which was really cool. We saw, I wish I had a photo, the island fox, which is quite potentially the cutest fox you've ever seen in your life. It's like very small and cute. I don't think the cute part helps it survive, but I know it being small is because of the island. And the island scrub jay, which my birding friend really wanted to see. So that was just really fun. It was beautiful hiking, beautiful scenery, and then also checking those like creatures off our bucket list was really fun.
Wow, that sounds really nice. How do you think that experience like has shaped and like changed you today?
I want to go back.
You want to
um, see more island foxes. I don't know. It was really cool. It was like interesting. I feel like to see a place where only one thing exists and you can only go to this one place to see it. It really makes you like shows you how kind of special and precious nature is. I feel like.
Mm, yes, I agree. Okay, so our last core question we have is, if you had unlimited resources to put towards a science project of your choosing, what would you use it on?
Unlimited. My brain just says to like solve climate change, but that's way too vast and not something you can put on a checklist. Um, I feel like it'd be really cool to explore the ocean. I know that I feel like I was reading recently about how we know more about space than the ocean, which just makes no sense to me. It'd be really cool to go on like a deep sea submarine adventure. I think it was potentially our first day of the internship. We went to the ichthyology collections and they showed us an anglerfish in a jar, and how like anglerfish normally live really, really far under the ocean. So like almost no one sees them in real life. So it'd be cool to see an anglerfish in real life. Maybe horrifying, but feel like it'd be really cool to get a deeper understanding of what's going on at the bottom of the ocean. Would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. There's probably so many undiscovered species and like
Yeah.
extremophiles that we've never seen before. Like, I
Probably scary. I
think it's
probably would get
interesting.
down there and then not want to be down there anymore, but
Yeah, I just like it is really interesting that we don't know anything about like, well, not that much about the bottom of the ocean, but then we're planning trips to Mars and stuff. Like, we
yeah.
haven't even explored our planet fully before we start looking at other planets.
Yeah, I feel it feels a little bit backwards.
Hmm. Okay, so we don't have any questions in the chat yet. People, please drop some questions, but since we're on space, it feels fitting to go ahead and move on to our comment round, where I will give you some rapid fire space themed
Okay.
questions. Okay, so question number one. If we were to discover intelligent life on another planet, what do you think it would look like?
Okay, well, firstly, I thought intelligent life already existed. I guess not intelligent life. I thought life already had been discovered. Turns out, someone told me recently, it hasn't been discovered. So I need to fact check my sources there. But what would it look like? I feel like it would look like nothing we can even imagine because it would evolve completely separately from the way we did since we evolved based on Earth and they're not on Earth. So I'm guessing it would look like nothing that anybody, maybe it's even invisible. I don't know.
Okay, what are your space travel essentials?
I don't think me going to space would work well because I'm quite the overpacker, and it doesn't seem like there's always that much space inside the spaceship. I'm a big snacker, would definitely bring some granola bars, definitely the emotional support water bottle as a necessity. I also get cold really easily, so if it could fit, probably an extra hoodie. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they have in the spaceship.
I don't know either. I would definitely bring like a toothbrush and a blanket,
Yeah, that's
probably. My favorite stuffed animal. Okay. Which planet do you think would make the best vacation spot? Just like out of the planets in our solar system, other
like
than Earth.
barring the fact that we would immediately die on most of them. Um, barring the fact that it's made of gas and we would immediately die, Jupiter is very pretty. I feel like potentially if you could be on Jupiter, the sky probably would look really cool since it's all those swirly gases. But I don't even think there's like a solid mass you can stand on. So I don't know.
Probably not, but it'd be really pretty, like an hot air balloon adventure, maybe. I don't know.
Out like floating. I know that there's maybe it's the moons of. I feel like it's the moons of. I'm probably gonna not be giving them. There's the moons of someone. So one of the planets has moons that they found like remnants of water on, and I feel like once again I probably need to fact check myself, but I think there was something about like water and potentially like big underwater species that could be really cool to explore.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What would your ideal planet look like?
I feel like Earth is the cop out answer, but what would it look like? It would have the northern lights everywhere because I'm really sad that I missed those like 2 months ago. It would have the northern lights everywhere and it would have beaches everywhere. So Pangea will have split into many more pieces. That's my answer.
Mm. Would you like have your ideal planet have people on it?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not all of the people, but it would definitely have people. I'm a very social person. I don't think I would definitely would not do well on a planet where it was just me.
Okay, okay. Okay, well, that is all the questions that I have for you today. If anyone has any questions for Sophia, please drop them in the chat. If not, thank you for tuning in, and please follow us on social media at CalAcademy_SSI to learn about science and natural history museums along with us this summer. Tune in next Tuesday where we will be interviewing Emilio on his research on arachnids. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.